Hello again everybody and welcome to episode 2 of the Let's Play Transport Fever 2 series. After we left off in episode 1 we made a start. We had 3 lines running. 4 lines running, I do beg your pardon. And we were pretty tight for money. As you can see we're now in the black, however it's only £600 which isn't going to buy us a great deal. But if we just check... Yes. So we're profitable most years now, which is obviously good. It's just a case of if we can keep that up. So we'll set it to 4 times acceleration, change the date speed back to 1/4, and we'll let things tick by. Now, one thing I'm considering is these ships are quite... they're very profitable. Very profitable, look at that. So, given the fact we have a large surplus here, we could, in theory, go with another 2 ships on this line, which should have the effect of giving us a steadier income stream. Now, obviously we can't afford it as it stands, however, we do have a £3 million credit line available. So I think that's what we shall do. We shall extend our credit to 1.5 million and we shall purchase 2 more ships. This may be oversaturating the line. However, I think we're going to be okay. So, those 2 ships are now on our line. I'm going to have you head straight to the port at Morley, actually. Is that where you're going? Yes. There we go. Yes, there'll be a very small gap between the 2 ships, but they will space themselves out naturally over time, so that's not a problem. Meanwhile, our tool production line is looking pretty good. I do believe it is profitable. Yes, it is. As it stands, the brick shipping line over the past rolling 12 months hasn't been profitable. However, we do have a ship heading quite close to Coventry Harbour, so that should change that. Down at the other end of the line, the ship is just arriving in Morley. That's not the port, that's a flock of seagulls. And as you can see, we have plenty waiting, plenty of stock of stone, and our trucks, our delivery stone haulage is doing okay. Again, we could probably afford to put more wagons on this line to have a more to limit the time between the start and the end of the chain. So he has now picked up a full load and he's heading off. We've still got 107 bricks on the wharf waiting, 40 odd units of stone available to be consumed, and our ship's on the way. So really all it's a matter of doing is waiting for those to join the line proper, let them space themselves out, and see how we get on with that. Now, one of the things I was talking about in the first episode was setting up a small bus route through Coventry, and potentially an intercity bus between Coventry and Bridport. I think that may be the thing to do. It's not going to make us a lot of money, however, something is better than nothing, and it's also going to encourage some city growth for Coventry, which in turn is going to give us more money. You know, the demand for the goods is going to increase, and the amount of passengers we're actually ferrying about on our buses is also going to increase. I do want to check that these are still reaching all. Yes, and I believe yes. So again, the locations of the drop-off points are still okay, so we can ignore them for the time being and get on with putting in some bus stops. So we'll have a simple loop system around the city like this, to there, and then come this way, like so. So there we go, just around the edge of the city. They do cover the city centre as well in terms of the catchment, so that's no problem. So let's go ahead and get all these stops on the line. Probably a little excessive in terms of the amount of stops we have, but that's okay. So this is bus service number 1, and that is in Coventry. So let's go ahead and get some passenger vehicles. We'll go for the stagecoach, and to start with we shall go for 6. We'll colour them the same yellow as the line and assign them to the line. And let's see what they do for us. I imagine they're going to make us a bit of money. It's not going to be game changing, but as I said, something is surely better than nothing, so we'll leave it to do what it's going to do. So there's ship 3 and 4. They've got a lot closer than where they were, closer together I mean, than where they were when I left them. We have 120 units of bricks waiting to be shipped from the port, so that's at least 1 full load. I don't think we're going to get 2 full loads before the second ship arrives, but there shouldn't be much delay as our stone haulage line is stone haulage trucks, I should say, are arriving and topping up the supply at the brickworks. So let's see how much is left now he's departed. So yeah, 10 units to go, and no, don't do that. And then he'll be on his way as well. Now I imagine this ship is going to wait, even if he is full, and wait at the harbour to allow some space to form between the two. I'll keep an eye on that. This ship here is almost ready to dock Coventry and bring some more money in. We have passengers waiting at our bus stops, which is a good sign. So things are looking pretty good if you just ignore this for the time being. I'm hopeful that the 2 extra ships I've put on this line aren't going to sink us. Pun very much intended. But we shall see. Now we can't afford to set up an intercity bus, although now we can. So if we pause it, perhaps we'll do that now and have a bus that runs from Coventry to Bridport. Let's just check there is still a demand for it. Yes, there is. 9 people or 9 vehicles making the journey, and I think what I'm going to do is take back some of that road there, get a bus tram station, put him right about there. Coventry Central. No, we could be Coventry Exchange. That's a better name for what I've got planned. Give him street access on either side and link it into the road network. Probably could do with, in fact no, that'll be fine. No, I will upgrade that little stretch of road there, and then I will delete that bus stop Not going to be happy, but that's okay. And then this line, instead of going to Highfield Road after Victoria Street, instead, get rid of that, you are going to go to the Exchange. And then we want a similar sort of thing up in Bridport. We'll have to borrow some money for this, but that's not a problem, hopefully. So we'll have that in the middle, or as best as I can eyeball it. Bridport transfer, yep, I'll keep that name, don't have a problem with that. Configure that, put an exit, and then connect it to the existing infrastructure like so. And then we can set up a line between the two stops like so. And this is intercity bus, and this is from Coventry, Bridport and returning. Purchase, let's say, again we'll go for 6 for the time being. Did I colour them the right colour? I think so, yes. Set them on the route, and while they're getting set up, what we'll also do is put a few bus stops around Bridport, just on a basic loop system. Yeah, not really needed at this point, but it's there for future expansion. This bus stop here, I mean, like so. And this is bus service number 1 for Bridport. Lovely. So we're going to need a depot that's going to service Bridport. I think we'll only need a handful on this line for now, so we'll go for 3. Colour them sky blue and put them on the line. This way, anybody wanting to travel to Coventry from the city can hop on the local bus, change here, and then catch the bus to Coventry, get dropped off here, and then same as in Bridport, they can get on the local bus service and go to wherever it is they're heading in the city. And that should work out quite nicely. In the meantime, we have a ship waiting to be loaded, but that's okay. He's got 50 already. The 2 ships we added onto the line are on the way back. He is on his way to the brickworks for a new load. So that's looking okay. Obviously when they are profitable, as you can see here, they're only just profitable. That's where we added the 2 extra ships. That's it. That's that expenditure just there, the investment. So time will tell, once I get settled onto the line and spaced correctly, if that was the correct choice to make. I believe it will work out okay, but time will tell. So once again, there's little to do at the moment in terms of future expansion and new lines, so I'm going to go ahead, pause the date speed, leave the game to run for another 5 or 10 minutes or so, pick it back up and see how things are looking then, with a special focus being paid to this shipping route. So let's pick it back up in a few minutes time. Okay, so I'm back. I was called away for a little longer than I expected, and as you can see in that time, the money has snowballed nicely to 1.8 million. What I did do off camera is add more wagons onto this line to ensure I've got a steady supply of stone for the brickworks, which in turn should mean these ships are in and out of the port as quickly as they can be. So, with the 1.8 million available to us, it's time to decide what to do next. First of all, reset the date speed to 1/4. Now, one thing I was contemplating was a train line hauling the stone to replace the trucks that we currently have doing the job. However, to make that profitable, I guess we'd need, in this early game when you have fairly weak trains in terms of power, you're gonna need 3 to 4 trains running the line, since you can't really have a long monster train that'll keep it supplied in the time it takes to go there and back. So while that is something I would like to look at, having a train, it's probably not something I'm going to get round to just yet. Another option is having a small shunting service that runs from Bridgewater Forest to Coventry Sawmills and amending the line that these wagons are running, so they're only going from the sawmill to the tool forge and into Coventry, and the lumber will be supplied purely by the train. Now that's a fairly short run, so we can get away with just 2 relatively small trains to keep this hopefully nice and supplied, and it will cut down the journey time for the wagons on this route because they're no longer having to go all the way down here, and that also therefore should improve the throughput of the tools into Coventry, helping it grow. While we're here, have a look at this. We've got 31 people waiting for the intercity bus. In Bridport we have 71. Okay, we're going to need more buses here. We've got 6 at the minute. I'm just going to go ahead and outright double them, and we'll have 12 running the line and see what that does. So back to the planning for the train. I think that's the next step then. We'll put a cargo station in here. Let's think how I want to run it. I think if we have it along this side, around about there, we'll connect it with a road in a few moments, and then have this one for the forest round about there. It's already connected to the forest, so that's a-okay. Just rename the 2 stations so that we know what they're serving, and then run the track. Let's just check the contour maps here. So at this point we're at around about 30 meters, and over the other end we drop down to 15, so it's going to be a slope downwards, which is fine because when they're heading back up the hill they'll be running empty, so they're pulling less weight, so they shouldn't have too many difficulties tackling the gradient. So let's go ahead and start the train. We'll run some track down here. That takes us down to around about 25 meters, so we need to drop another 10. I think we will. That will just go straight through the forest. Keep it as direct as possible. And then connect it in like so. We'll single track it only for the time being, but naturally we are going to need a depot. The depot can sit back towards the road just here, like that, and that will give us plenty of room to connect in onto the line. The junction looks okay to me. Drop it down like that. Make it a bit smoother. Perfect. Start the line. Oh, no. Before we set up the line, we need to put a street connection from this station. Get a curved road here. Like so. And like so. So that's now connected to the sawmill. Perfect. And go back to that line. This is carrying logs, so brown from there to there. Nice and simple. It can only load and unload one item here, so that wasn't really necessary to specify, but I like to do it anyway, just to avoid any issues. So this is going to be our logging freight. That's going from Bridgewater. There is an R, or there was 2 R's in Bridgewater, to Coventry. Perfect. Yes. So how much would a train cost us to start with? Let's have a look. He's the fastest. He's a bit slower, but he does have more power. He sits somewhere in the middle, but he's got the same speed as a Baldwin, but the worst tractive effort. I think we go with the Russian Class V Type 1, so we'll add that. We want a flat car with stake sides. We'll go for this one. It's a little bit lighter. It's 2 tons lighter. And we'll go for 7, and we'll just wait for the money to tick over to 1.537 million when we can obviously then purchase the train. There we go. What? No. Idiot. What an idiot. That is not what I wanted to do at all. That was all kinds of ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's only got a poor rating, so maybe we'll go for 6. There we go. So colour him colour of the line. He is logging from Bridgewater to Coventry. There we go. And get him assigned. And then we can adjust this line. Remove that. There they go. So now they're only going from the sawmill to the forge to Coventry. We can now change that colour. And we'll go for the pale sort of light blue colour for the tools, which I think the closest one that I can see to that colour is probably that one. Perfect. So that platform is now emptied, so we can delete that. It's no longer required. And instead it's transferred it all onto the rail platform. The train's already at its first full load. Let's see how much it's going to make, because it's not going to be a lot. It's a small train over a short distance. 200,000. Not too shabby. Immediately what I'm going to do now is add a passing loop, ready for a second train to be running this little shunting service. Since we only have a small capacity train running the line at the moment, we'll have a one-way no, not there, wrong side. One-way signal there. And another just. Yep. And I think that will be good enough for now. I suppose we could do ones in the middle if we really wanted to. Why are you not happy with that? Have I? Yes. He went on the wrong line. There we go. So now we can have a second train when we can afford it. How much did the train cost? 1.4 million. So as soon as we get to 1.4 million, we'll duplicate the train and have two running up and down here to keep this place fully stocked with logs. Now, a lot of these are going to be running empty because we ran out of logs, which is unfortunate, which is going to slow production here. So what I'm going to do is wait until full. And you're loading lumber. Over here you are loading tools and unloading the lumber, like that. So there will be some waiting around as the train's running the line, but that's okay. I can live with that. The ships are nicely spaced out, very nicely spaced out now. We have one on the way back. We should pretty much head into a full load on the platform, which is what we want, so we can get underway ASAP. The extra buses on the intercity bus have made a nice dent in the amount of passengers waiting, and it's also profitable. Just under 60,000 per year. The only non-profitable line we have is the tool production one here, which I'm going to say is because we had several wagons leave the sawmill empty, so there was nothing to produce here. So they basically did the whole route without making any money, which is unfortunate. Here comes our next delivery of logs for the sawmill. Now they're able to take some planks with them rather than running empty. But we are burning through the logs extremely quickly, so having a second train on this line is essential. How much did it cost, and is it worth taking a loan to get it? Probably not, because we're not too far off being able to afford it ourselves. So we'll just sit tight and we'll pick it up as soon as we can. It shouldn't be in the too distant future. Yes, so far so good. I think we're going to need more. What's the throughput in Coventry? 48.7. Yes, I think it will be worthwhile adding extra wagons onto this line. We have 10. Let's add another 4 and see what that does. The inner city bus number 1 is quite popular, which is good. How many did we have on there? 6. We'll keep that for the time being. We can always add more later. So, I think this is a decent place to end this episode. We have a traffic jam here due to a lack of raw materials at the sawmill, but that's sadly unavoidable for the time being. As soon as we get a second train, while it might not eradicate the problem, it should at least alleviate it somewhat. And we'll explore that in episode 3. So once again, I hope that you have enjoyed the video. I'm enjoying the series so far. We've made a varied start, an interesting start. I've tried to diversify what we're doing in terms of trains, road vehicles, and ships, just to keep it interesting. Have a bit of everything on the map. Also tried to keep it somewhat realistic. I'll explain what I mean about that in future. So for now, all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in episode 3 shortly. Take care all, bye for now.